How to overcome the fear of rejection. I'm going to repeat the title because I know sometimes YouTube is a little bit glitchy. It kicks in like later. So, how to overcome the fear of rejection. I wanted to pick this topic because I see so many people struggling with this, wondering and worrying on a daily, moment to moment basis on what people might think of them. And what if they don't like me? And what if they criticize me? And what if they reject me? And what if I fall? And what if because fear of rejection actually really comes down to we as human beings, we don't like to humiliate ourselves in front of other people. And fear of rejection implies there's going to be at least two people there, right? And if somebody rejects me, that means I should be ashamed of myself, or I'm somehow inferior, or I'm somehow not good enough because that other person rejected me. And this is what keeps people, this mindset is what keeps so many stuck, sitting on the sidelines, waiting for something to happen, getting stuck in the familiar zone. Please don't call it the comfort zone. It's not the comfort zone. Getting busy with busy work, but actually never doing the income producing jobs that they should be doing, like putting themselves out there, having conversations, getting into that negotiation, doing the marketing, doing the right. So, today we're going to put an end to this, all right? Because so many people suffer with this idea of getting rejected and how bad that hurts. So, number one, above all, above anything, is it's very easy to have fear of rejection or even get rejected if you don't even know what you want. So, number one, it's so important for you to ask yourself, what is your mission? What is your intention? What's important in your life? What are you pursuing? Right? It's so important for you to get clarity. What is it that you're pursuing? Are you starting a business? And if you are, for what purpose? What's important about that business? What's important about that mission in your business? Get crystal clear on your intention, on your goals, on your mission. And that in itself is pure gold, because just that alone will give you much better laser focus. I always ask my clients, what's your North Star? What are you pursuing right now? What's important to you? What are you after? The minute you have that, at least, okay, you have the ability to be much more discerning about other people's opinions. Okay, and number two, please keep in mind, don't fall for the crabs in a bucket. Meaning, every fisherman knows this. If there's one crab in a bucket, obviously every fisherman would never put just one crab in a bucket, because what happens if that one crab is in a bucket, that crab disappears quickly. But you put two crabs in a bucket. This is where the magic sauce lies. You put two crabs in a bucket. Now, literally, one crab is going to keep trying to pull the other crab down. And then they're both going to be crabby, okay? So that means the minute, I promise you, the minute you start to put yourself out there, the minute you start to pursue your goals, your mission, you go for that race, you go for that, you raise your hand, you start that business, I promise you, there will be a line, okay? There will be a line around you trying to talk you out of it, trying to criticize you, dig. Oh, come on, just relax. Don't do that. It's going to be too hard. I promise you, this is the crabs in a bucket syndrome. Literally, there are going to be people who will want to bring you down. They will tell you it's going to be too hard. They will tell you don't even start, or something like that. Now, this is where you must be so careful. Fear of rejection. Understand, rejection is a real thing. It's a human thing. It's a natural thing. It's a life thing. Okay. That's not the problem. Your relationship with the word rejection is the problem. And here's where I explain to my clients, if you look at people criticizing you, judging you, saying no to you, not selecting you, not getting picked for the team, if you look at that as rejection, that's a big problem. That means you have a certain perspective about the word rejection, which often causes you to then feel inferior, causes you to feel not good enough, causes you to feel what's wrong with me, causes you to feel, oh, maybe I'm not skinny enough. Like literally, this is when you start to internalize and start to pick on yourself and align with the person that just rejected you versus understand rejection is a wonderful thing because let's say we're out on a date, right? And within a short while, I don't know, 30 minutes or even less than, we realize like, yeah, this is like just, there's no chemistry. There's just like something is off. It's just not working, right? And let's just say we tell each other that, frankly, at the end of the day. Would I look at that as, oh my God, that person just rejected me? No, I look through the eyes of gratitude and like, oh my God, this is amazing. I now don't have to waste my time going on a second date and maybe this and no. You might have heard the term rejection is God's redirection. So trust it. Don't why about it. There's no need. That's a very good thing. If somebody rejects you, if somebody says no to you, you're too expensive, you're too much, no problem. The answer and response is no problem. Thank you. Now I know. And I can literally keep scrolling next. And whether this is a date, whether this is a prospect, whether this is some other sort of opportunity, the car sales person doesn't want to negotiate with you, no problem. Next. Like they literally have just shown you that they're not interested in, okay, no problem. So accept and appreciate rejection as gratitude. Don't take it personally. Actually, do take it personally because clearly, maybe on that date or that business, maybe that person isn't in your class. They're not in your niveau. They're not your caliber person. You probably don't have the same standards. You probably don't have the same values. And that's a good thing. I would rather find out sooner than later that we're not meant for each other, and that's a very very good thing. Unfortunately, as humans, we often take this so personally and so seriously, and then we feel the pain. No, change that, right? And also understand, let's say you are somebody who needs to put themselves out there socially and social media, right? You got to market, and obviously, the big risk is people are going to leave crappy comments. They're going to make fun of blah, blah, blah. I don't, how many times, right? Have you seen where people put themselves out there? They work really hard to convey a message, to teach, to educate, to show. And clearly, they delivered a wonderful presentation only to find out the people in the comments made fun of that person's hair. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's what you got out of this conversation? I mean, I wouldn't even want to have a conversation with that person. It's like, really, that was the value. Like you just invested your time, energy, attention, and the best you got is to leave a comment like that, picking on that person's hair. Like you just know where it comes from. Which leads me to the next point. Where is that negative comment or where is that rejection coming from? Right? You probably wouldn't even want to be friends with these people, or there's just no alignment. Do you see the difference? So expect rejection is a life thing. It's part of being human. It's part, and in fact, think about it also from the perspective of responsibility. As an adult, you get to be responsible for yourself, for your actions, for your thoughts, right? And don't you think it's the most responsible thing to be discerning? Every person is entitled to have an opinion. Every person is entitled to reject us. Every person is entitled to think a different way. No problem. But so are you. And you too get to discern who deserves to be in your sphere and who doesn't. And that has nothing to do with rejection per se, it has much more to do with clarity. Clarity. What do you want? What are your core values? What are your standards? What are your expectations? What is your goal? What is your mission? It would, in simplified way, it would be like saying, if I like the color red, but you come along and you're like, no, I don't like the color red, I like the color blue. Does that mean the person just rejected me? No, they were honest and candid. And so now we know that we're probably not going to be, so that's a wonderful thing. So really my goal with this video is to help you reframe this idea of rejection, right? And help you see that instead of taking it, being hurt about rejection or taking it personally or, keeping it as baggage and then wallowing for the next 10, 50 days about how that person rejected you. Instead, take it as an appreciation and realize, wow, I am so glad. Now I have more clarity. That person told me I was too expensive. No problem. I probably didn't want to work with that person anyway because they don't even understand the value of what it means to invest in yourself, the exponential growth that comes out of that. So I'm not here to convince people, right? And and that can only happen very often through conversations. That can only happen through, being honest and being open to having these conversations. Just like if you're a business owner and you need to put yourself out there more often, or you need to go to business networking events, the only way you will find your people and your prospects and your tribe is by learning, having these relationships with people and learning through this interaction what worked, what didn't work so well, where could you do more, where should you do less, right? And it becomes a learning experience instead of emotional suffering and pain, which I don't recommend that because that often lingers with you. And then it causes for most people to spiral down into I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not valuable, maybe I'm too this, maybe I'm not enough that. And that is a toxic game. That's literally sort of like a form of self abuse. It doesn't lead anywhere, right? So I hope that this is helpful to you because as a hypnotherapist, one of my homeworks, one of my how do I call this? It's almost like a prerequisite. I expect my clients to become surgical about their thoughts. What are your thoughts? How are you thinking today? What are those thoughts made of? Now, on top of that, what are those beliefs that you have on a daily basis? And what is your mindset like? Become surgical. Because if you feel bad about certain interactions, if you're allowing other people to, rain on your parade and to disturb your self esteem and disturb your peace, then those people actually have so much more control over you than you have over yourself. And that's a bad idea. You want to become so clear in your thinking and when you communicate with people, right? Whatever comes at you, recognize what's your perspective about it. How do you respond to it? What are your thoughts about it? Do you take everything personally? Or do you realize, no, this is not a confrontation. This is not a negotiation. This is literally a conversation about clarity. And then you can walk away with much more peace, with a lot more information, and much more learning, which will give you growth. And then the next time you take those lessons and you become even better. So I hope that this helped somebody today, especially with. I know the world is very competitive. I know that there are a lot of mean people out there that have mean comments. And by the way, just FYI, those are the same exact people, the ones that leave the negative comments and the mean and the this, they um probably haven't achieved all that much today anyway. Because if they have time to comment negatively toward you, then what is it like? What's the big deal that's going on in their life? Clearly, they don't have aim, they don't have, so just again, notice where it comes from, right? Always understand, wait a minute, who would make a comment like that? What's the purpose of a comment like that? And if a person, literally, time is a luxury. If the person had the time, which is a luxury very few people have, to stop and comment, then what important thing is going on in their life? Exactly, zero. So you should feel honored and grateful that, out of all the 8 billion people in the world, you are the one they paid attention to. So that in itself is kind of a compliment. So reframe, and just say, nope, gratitude, compliment, thank you, next. Very, very simple. And with a little bit of practice, you're going to get better at this and you're going to be more bulletproof. You're going to be more rejection proof and you're going to be more like, let it slide off and leave it there. All right. I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. And of course, as always, let me know if you have any questions.